In a seller's market, it's easy for a lot of sellers to reach the conclusion they don't need a real estate agent to help them sell their home. After all, there are buyers everywhere and prices are skyrocketing. How hard can it really be to just do it yourself and save money on commission? Unfortunately, many of these for sale by owner sellers answer that question much harder than you think. Research shows that for sale by owner listings take longer to sell for less than market value, and cause the seller to use a lot of their time up. Plus, sellers market don't last that long. This one appears to be plateauing and maybe in an outright downslope. And counting on that market to last forever could cost you a lot of money while you adjust your expectations. Why do for sale by owner listings fail so frequently? Here's 15 reasons why they usually don't work out as well as the seller hopes. They don't do their homework before listing. Most of us love the home that we've lived in for years, so it's hard to understand why someone wouldn't snatch it up as soon as it hits the market. However, they are comparing your home to every other home out there on the market that is very well staged and has all the tips done that a listing agent would recommend, like decluttering, removing furniture so it looks more spacious, storing away things that you don't need, all the things you're going to do anyway when you get ready to move. Maybe you want to think about doing updates like painting inside, outside, getting the floors deep cleaned, whether it's carpets or not. And maybe there's some repairs that need to be taken care of that have been neglected with delayed maintenance. A listing agent can point these details out with a fresh pair of eyes, and so it really is ready when a buyer sees it. Some sellers may even want to get an inspection before they put it on the market, so they really can tackle all the issues that are going on in the home. For sale by owner sellers simply don't know that all these steps are highly recommended before you list the house. So it's not their fault for skipping them, but the fact that they do skip these steps results in fewer offers for less money, which is not usually the outcome a for sale by owner seller is looking for. The pictures are terrible. What makes a good listing photo? A picture is worth 1,000 words. And I don't know how many times I show a buyer a property and they are like, this is nothing like the pictures. But that's a listing agent's job, to get a buyer to the house and see it in person. We're not trying to be deceptive, we're just trying to make the house look the best it can be. And that's the difference with an agent and a for sale by owner, is that they just take pictures and maybe don't get the right angle and know all the details and get the right lighting. Buyers are excited to see the house because they can already imagine themselves living there. So a seller needs to declutter the home, get the pictures down off the wall so that they can make it look like a buyer can move right in and make it clearly theirs. Generally, if you don't have amazing pictures, your house is just going to look average, and you don't want a buyer to think they're buying an average house. They want you to think they're buying an amazing house. They aren't marketing the home very well. What's the MLS and why do sellers need it? That's a multiple listing service, and listing agents, realtors, use it to put it out on about a dozen different websites, including Zillow, Realty.com, Trulia. But beyond simply putting a sign in your yard, it is important to put it out on the MLS. A listing agent uses that for all their listings, so it's not an additional cost to a seller, but if it's a for sale by owner, they're going to have to pay to put it on Zillow or Realtor.com. It is important that you do put a sign in the yard to attract neighbors to attention. Maybe they're looking to get somebody in their family to be their neighbor. But many serious buyers aren't using just Zillow to find their homes. That's why it's important to use many sources of advertising and marketing. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, social media, all of those are what real estate agents are using now. Even brochures, radio ads, print ads, and video of your property and the area are very important to be marketing your home. Most for sale by owners pick one, maybe two of the things that I mentioned, but probably not all of those avenues that a real estate agent would use, and therefore they're making themselves at a disadvantage when it comes to marketing. Another con of for sale by owner sellers is they don't screen buyers very well. Despite what television ads might have made you believe, getting a mortgage is truly not as simple as pulling up an app on your phone and answering a few questions. That might be all it takes to get pre-qualified. To get pre-approved though, you're going to have to give a lot more information, and unfortunately sometimes you have to give it over and over again, and it can be very time consuming out of your day to go get pre-approved. And a buyer really needs an agent to walk them through the process. A for sale by owner may not be prepared to answer questions that they have, And so it is important for a seller to be prepared for these questions and be able to at least address them and point them in the right direction if they can't answer them. But if you aren't asking some detailed questions up front of buyers who inquire about your house, like what they're pre-approved for or what kind of loan they're going to get, it's possible you're wasting your time on people who can't even make an offer. Another con of for sale by owner sellers is they aren't around to ask questions about the house or aren't prepared to set up showing times. Buying a house is a big deal, and it's understandable buyers will want time to walk through the home and have plenty of questions about the house. They need to be prepared to answer the questions that the seller has and make setting up showings a priority. That can be difficult if you work a day job or sometimes even a night job when they want to see it on off hours. That's why real estate agents are available to show buyers and work with sellers during a normal business day. If you don't work a normal job, then it will be easier, obviously, for you to show the house and answer questions when they come up. And questions that you may not put on the details on Zillow or wherever you decide to put the advertisement, maybe Facebook, but they're still going to probably ask you questions about how long has the roof been on and how old is the heat and air, and you need to be prepared for those questions as well. For sale by owner sellers are often too slow to respond. As a real estate agent, we are pretty much expected to be available 24/7. So don't be surprised if somebody messages you at Sunday night asking to see a house in 5 minutes. So be prepared for that. Life happens, and it's understandable that you're not available whenever they immediately message you. But it should not take days or weeks to get back with them. You need to make a true effort to get back to them as soon as possible. And sometimes buyers may just forget about you and move on if you don't answer them. They may have a specific timeline that they're working with, that they're pre-approved or have rates locked in, and so they don't have a lot of flexibility. So if you snooze, you may lose. Sellers who insist on attending any showings may not be working in their best interest. Think about the last time you went to buy something, whether it was furniture, a car, or a house. You really didn't want that salesperson hanging around and asking you if you needed any help, because you knew if you needed help, you would go find something. Personally, when I walk into a store, I don't want anybody to talk to me until I find something I want, and then I will go ask for help. People that are buying a house are the same way. They want to be able to look at all the nook and crannies. They may have some questions, but they can always come back to the seller later. So it's usually a good idea for a seller not to be there during a showing. Sellers often don't see what's wrong with it, so they tend to want to be there and make sure that they're available for any questions. As long as you stay out of the way, you might be okay. But the buyer isn't going to enjoy the showing experience if the seller is breathing down their neck the whole time, pointing out special features that they don't even care about and telling them they better hurry up and make an offer because they have another showing later that day. For sale by owner sellers may not know how to negotiate. The art of negotiation can take years to master, and that's why it's important to use a professional real estate agent who's had years of experience. Sellers need to realize when they get an offer, they need to negotiate on more than things than just price. Like there could be inspection or closing date or earnest money. Any part of the offer can be negotiated, and they need to not focus on deal details that really don't matter, simply to feel like they got to win. So it is important for a seller to try to separate themselves as agent and seller, because that's really what they're doing. They're acting as their own agent. So when they're showing the house, if a buyer makes an offer while they're looking at the house, tell them to write down the details and say, I'll consider this later and I'll get back to you. So they don't make a snap decision and keep their thoughts separate and can focus on the actual details of the deal when they're by themselves and can really think it through. For sale by owner sellers also don't know how to work with buyer's agents. A lot of for sale by owners get hung up on the commission. They feel like they're paying a percentage of their home sale is a waste of money. But you got to keep in mind there's two sides to a deal. There's a listing agent, which represents the seller, and a selling agent, which represents the buyer. So if you're representing yourself, that's your decision, but a buyer also needs to have an agent to represent themselves. If they're comfortable without it, okay. But you're losing a huge pool of buyers when you're not accepting a buyer's agent to show your home, or just flat out refusing to pay a commission. If a agent contacts you and wants to show your house to a buyer, then understand that they're probably going to have their buyer pay some of the commission, and even if they don't, the buyer's paying all the commission, so you're still losing the money that you would have got for your house, and they're going to negotiate harder on your house. Plus, a buyer's agent is more likely to have a pre-approved or pre-qualified buyer and work to be helping locate them in the house and probably point your house out to them. So why not expand it to everybody so that you can make sure that you get the best offer? It can virtually guarantee you'll get fewer offers, and the offers will be lower because buyer will know that you're not paying a commission and that you have that less expense. For sale by owner sellers may not know what to do when inspection finds flaws with their home. Many for sale by owner sellers aren't sure what to do when inspection uncovers any issues with their house. Most often these are delayed maintenance issues, but it is very likely that an inspection could reveal a major issue that the seller wasn't even aware of. More than likely, they're responsible for making that repair. They don't necessarily have to do it for the sale or the price that they've agreed to or with that buyer or with that loan, but you're going to have to reveal it to the next buyer, or you should, because otherwise it could cause legal issues later on for not disclosing information to the buyer. So you should take care of any issues that you can as soon as possible, especially before listing is recommended. But be prepared for an inspection to reveal issues that you may have to repair. Again, it is a negotiation. A buyer can request repairs. It doesn't mean you need to make them or all of the repairs that they requested. To me, I consider it the second negotiation. So consider that when you receive requests for repairs, and don't take it personally. Again, try to detach yourself that this buyer is not attacking you. It's just the house. They want the house to be move-in ready when they've closed on it. They don't want to have to worry about all these issues when they are ready to close on the house. For sale by owner sellers, don't understand contingencies or legal issues. Maybe you're a realtor or maybe you're a real estate lawyer and you understand all these details, but the average for sale by owner seller may not. Every state has different rules and regulations about home sales, so it is best to brush up on those if you are not a realtor or a lawyer. Maybe you didn't get a permit to put up your fence, or maybe the appraiser decides that you have it listed higher than the market value. These may be issues that you're going to run into, and a listing agent will help you work through all of them. They're going to handle these problems up front if they're aware of them, but as a for sale by owner, you may not catch them until it's too late or the buyer doesn't have time for you to fix them. Sellers, for sale by owner sellers, are often on their own and might have a failed deal because of not addressing these issues early on. The price is wrong. I can't help but think of Happy Gilmore, so if you know, you know. Pricing your home might seem easy after all the internet tools available like Sustimate and things like that, but they fail to consider everything about your house. They don't know that your house is across the street from a lake. They don't know that your house is in a neighborhood that's surrounded by mobile homes. They don't know what your house smells like. Is it cats or dogs or smoking? On the plus side, they may not know the improvements or upgrades that you made, or the room addition you made, or maybe the square footage is just wrong on the tax card, and that's what they're going by. They're just going by the information that they can get from other parts of the internet. So if the price is not right on the nose for the most market, most buyers are going to submit an offer under asking price. Plus, they know that you're not paying the agent commission, so they know that you have less expenses. For sale by owner sellers may drop the ball after an offer is accepted. There are a lot of steps between getting an offer accepted and handing over the keys. Everything from earnest money, inspection, appraisal, termite, and there's a lot of timelines in there too, so you have to be very detail oriented and have time to address all the details in the offer in your day. So that may be something that a for sale by owner seller doesn't have. Neglecting any of the small details can mean the house goes back on the market and the seller may have just lost the biggest, best deal they were going to get. Investors know for sale by owner is an opportunity to get a house on the cheap side. All cash investor buyers are active in every market, and many of them know for sale by owner sellers aren't as experienced as listing agents. More than likely, they're going to make a lowball offer, but if the seller hasn't talked to anybody about his pricing, they may not even realize they're getting a lowball offer and may be leaving money on the table. All cash buyer often means no inspection, no appraisal, and so a seller is going to grab that offer up without hardly looking at the price and may be taken advantage of. The longer it's on the market, the worse the deal the seller will get. All of these factors taken into consideration today add up to for sale by owner homes lingering on the market longer than average. You're cutting down your qualified buyer pool by not working with buyer's agents. You're not putting it out in all types of marketing that you should be to get it all the exposure it needs. And the longer it's on the market, the more likely you'll have to reduce the price. And buyers will ask, why has it been on the market so long? What's wrong with it? Why does the price keep going down? And they may insist on more in contingencies like extra inspections to make sure that they are still getting a good deal. Selling a home for sale by owner is every seller's choice, but many of them don't realize just how much a listing agent or a buyer's agent does in order to earn their commission. It's about value, not about price. By the time they figure out that percentage of the sale is well worth it, what they get in return and probably net them more, it may be too late. So if you're ready to sell your home, check out this video I just did, 11 things your real estate agent should be doing. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.